Gwyneth Paltrow is getting lots of attention right now. There's Marty Supreme, her new movie with Timothée Chalamet, and a new fashion brand called Gwyn. That's the Gwyneth Paltrow she wants you to see. But it is her negative reaction to a new biography about her that we really want to dig into today. I'm Amil Niazi, sitting in for Elamin Abdelmahmoud. This is Commotion. I have Jen Sookfong Lee and Lainey Louis here to talk about what we're going to call the bothered Gwyneth. Jen, Lainey, how are you?
I'm good. Not bothered at all either.
That's good. Before we dig into Gwyneth, I want to start with Amy Odell, who actually wrote this biography that came out earlier this summer, the one that Gwyneth Paltrow is so mad about. Here's Amy on her podcast, The Back Row.
Gwyneth was on the cover of British Vogue, which came out just a couple days ago. And I open Instagram and I see her and I was like, oh, she must be promoting Marty Supreme. I get the time to read the story and then it's about me. But I was so surprised.
Yeah, what was that like? How do you process that?
It was just surreal. I feel like I'm just like a mom, like getting by. And then it's like you read about yourself in this British Vogue article. It was kind of surreal. And then I also just felt like reading the story, the way I portrayed her and sort of the media machinations around her in the book were beautifully illustrated by that story. So I think those were my takeaways.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of that story?
It felt so harsh. Like reading having read the book and then seeing what she said about you, I think it was clear she never wanted a book to be written. I don't think she wanted to be looked at from every angle rather than just from the standard, like, here I am promoting something angle.
You don't really see her speak that candidly about stuff very often because these things are so curated.
So that's Amy Odell speaking with her guests, the playwrights and actors Linus Karp and Joseph Martin, who created the fringe play Gwyneth Goes Skiing. There's a lot to talk about there, but I want to start with what Joseph Martin said. He was surprised to see Gwyneth react the way she did because everything she does and says usually is really curated. Lainey, let's get into that because, this is not someone who's immune to being the butt of jokes, to being talked about. Obviously, there was so much media attention paid to her during this, this lawsuit about the ski accident. What do you think of what they're saying about her reaction to this book there?
Well, I think also, Gwyneth Paltrow hasn't just been famous for 5 minutes. She's been famous for almost 30 years. So typically you expect someone like Gwyneth, who's been famous for so long, who's been gossiped about for so long, who almost courts controversy sometimes on her terms, to kind of brush it off. But this one struck a nerve. And that's why we're all paying attention. That's why we're talking about it today. What is it about this particular story, this particular book, that has made Gwyneth behave so uncharacteristically? That is the question.
That is the question. I want to get into the specifics in a moment. But Jen, let's talk about exactly kind of what Gwyneth's criticisms have been, at least the ones that she's expressed. She's not wishing Amy Odell well here. She says, quote, her husband just flicked through it. So tell us what she's actually saying about her issues with this book.
Well, she said that it was badly written, which is a bold claim for someone to say when they haven't read a book, but cool. And she also called Amy Odell a hack, which, she's a widely published author and journalist. I don't know if we can call her a hack necessarily. And she also said that the choice of author was sexist, that it should have been Walter Isaacson, who just FYI wrote biographies of Leonardo da Vinci and Albert Einstein and, Benjamin Franklin. And she would have rather had him write her biography instead, which
me too.
Well, yeah, same. I would also, but is that sexist, or is he just interested in heads of state? I don't know.
But how about
I feel
if you call something sexist? If you call something sexist and then want a man to write your biography,
yeah, is that not kind of sexist too?
Well, there's also many female authors out there who would do. I would do it, for heaven's sake. Come on.
And Amy Odell has spent her career, as you mentioned, Jen, covering fashion, covering celebrity.
Yes.
This is not outside her wheelhouse by any stretch of the imagination.
No, her last biography was of Anna Wintour, which is okay. That's of a type. I feel, and I get it, but I don't think she's a hack.
No, Do you, really buy that she's not read it either? Because I feel like those are pretty specific criticisms.
Well, she did say Brad Falchuk like flicked through it, as you say, but and I've actually thought about this quite a lot. Is Gwyneth actually lying? Or I don't think she is. I think she often credits herself with being bracingly honest. But I think it's a version of the truth that she believes. So I believe Brad Falchuk perhaps was reading the book beside her in bed and read her passages out loud that he thought were relevant or particularly egregious or like whatever. And also, I should say that there is absolutely no way that nobody in her friend group chat didn't read some of it and sent her screenshots of passages. I mean, come on.
Oh, I just want a play about Brad Falchuk reading passages of this book to Gwyneth Paltrow in bed, and the audacity of the group chat to send her screenshots. Lainey, this, as we mentioned right off the top, this is someone that people love to talk about, love to love. This is the founder of Goop. This is someone who basically created a type of celebrity brand that really never existed before, that lifestyle brand that, Reese Witherspoon, Blake Lively, Meghan Markle, so many imitators have come in the wake of what Gwyneth has done. They love her, but they also love to hate her. Why is she such a fundamentally polarizing figure?
Well, in my opinion, she's a polarizing figure because you have to admit that there are some things that she does very well. She's managed her celebrity very well. She dates very well. She can, her track record of romance. I mean, this is a woman who went from Brad Pitt to Ben Affleck in Oscar time to Chris Martin at the height of Coldplay. And is now married to Brad Falchuk, who is an extremely successful television producer working alongside sometimes Ryan Murphy. So, he can walk around the world being like, my track record on top of my Oscar is gold. And in one of her jobs, acting, she's very good. I find her a very compelling actor. She hasn't acted seriously in a long time. So she's polarizing because it's annoying to us that she's good at things, that she's been successful. There are some people who, there are some people who we don't bother being annoyed by because they're not that good, right? But she's good and she's successful. And so when she does these things, it's even more irritating. Really, she has a skill of being able to get under our skin. And that is one of the keys she's also exploited. She used that and kind of went with it with Goop, right? She's like, instead of fighting it, she's like, let me lean in. You were bothered by my jade vagina egg? Well, let me release a candle that smells like my vagina.
Yes, she's unabashed in her wealth, and she was kind of the proto Nepo baby in some ways. Jen, do you want to jump in here and just sort of help us unpack what is it about Gwyneth that we're just like endlessly fascinated by?
I think it's her sort of like persona of like being aspirational. I think she knows that she has a life or a look or a whatever that a lot of people want. Because most of us, let's be honest, we're driving to work in our Mazda 3s, wearing our old Navy pants. We're not Gwyneth Paltrow, right? And she presents something that seems aspirational. And what I think people find, upsetting is that she's monetizing it, right? So she's selling the aspirational lifestyle back to people who are probably deeply unhappy about their lives, which means then she's exploiting people's unhappiness with themselves. That's personally my reason for finding her particularly polarizing. Like, listen, I just want to sit around in my ratty sweatpants and feel at least okay about myself. But then, in this particular article in British Vogue, they're like, oh, she's wearing beige sweatpants and a white linen shirt and she still looks beautiful. And I'm like, okay, great.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with coming to work, say, in a beat up Honda CRV.
Absolutely
Perhaps
not.
it's covered in crumbs. One might have 3 children. It's hard to keep up.
It's okay. If there's goldfish crackers, it's fine.
If that's all there was, I'd be happy. Jen, you've actually written your own memoir. You understand so specifically what it means to have people perhaps disagree or you take umbrage with characterization in a book. What would it even mean if she liked her portrayal? You know, I mean, biographies are meant to sort of be the telling of a persona, of a story. It's not necessarily meant to, be tick mark approved by the person that it's about.
Yeah, I think if she actually really enjoyed it, it would probably mean it wasn't very good. I mean, the truth is often ugly, right? And any good biography or memoir tells those challenging, scandalous, painful, whatever stories. But I do think that a lot of the target audience for this book probably is more motivated to read it because she hates it. So I think it might be backfiring on her a little bit. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of people are like, she hates it. Let's read it for spite.
Now that you say that, it's making me think, is this like 3D chess? Like, is there a back room deal between Amy and Gwyneth? No, Lainey's shaking her head. Okay, I'm just throwing it out there, you know. Lainey, let's get to the question here that you brought up earlier, because this is, as you mentioned, someone who's been a celebrity for a very long time, someone who's been in the spotlight, someone who understands good and bad press. So why this book? Why now? What does it say about where she's at in her career that this is suddenly getting to her?
Well, I think that what it has to say beyond the Hollywood gossip, like who she's friends with, what happened, why she and Madonna broke up. I mean, those are all the things that, like, if the book was just that, I think Gwyneth would not be complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think she would have been happy to have people know that she isn't nice to waiters, and that, you know, she and Winona Ryder aren't friends anymore because she claims Winona Ryder backstabbed her. Like, if it was just really TMZ in kind of level info, I don't think that she would be bothered. But what Amy Odell did was delved deeper into how sinister it is that Gwyneth was on the leading edge of the wellness scam, and what it means to monetize people's unhappiness and to make a privilege out of wellness instead of, you know, positioning it as a human right. So I think that's what she's bothered about. But I also think that what she's even more bothered about is that the supporting information that Amy Odell used to make the case that she is so damaging comes from insiders. So if somebody on Twitter or Instagram, whoever, a person in their Old Navy sweatpants driving a Mazda 3 criticizes Gwyneth Paltrow, why would she care? She's above those people. But Amy Odell researches rigorously, and her sources came from insiders. So in the inner circle is where Gwyneth, in her mind, is being betrayed. That's extremely jarring for somebody who is as secure as Gwyneth Paltrow. And also, I think the final sort of stab for her is that if you look at Amy Odell, no judgment, but Amy Odell is of the mold of Gwyneth, a white woman in New York somewhere, moves in certain circles. And if Gwyneth has lost that woman, her target customer, the white woman who aspires to be the ultimate white woman in Gwyneth Paltrow, then Gwyneth Paltrow's entire business plan might be in jeopardy. And that calls in Goop beauty, the food, and also this new fashion line. So this, I think, is why she's bothered, because she's not after us, 3 women of color. She doesn't want our money.
Driving a CRV? Right? Boo.
The money she's after, the people's money are people who look like her, aspire to be her. And if she's lost the Amy Odells, that's a problem.
Lainey, I got chills when you said all that. That was incredible. You nailed it. Jen, so given everything Lainey just said, given kind of this new era of Gwyn and where she sort of has to move to as a, women of color not in Hollywood, older white women also not really in Hollywood. So where does Gwyneth go from here?
I think there's something about her that Gwyneth doesn't know yet, and which is that she is basically like a high camp Disney villain. She basically is Cruella de Vil, let's be honest. And I swear she doesn't know yet. I always think that, like, as women get older, and maybe Gwyneth will be this way also, they care less and less about what people think of them. And I'm hoping as she gets older, she understands this persona of hers, that she is Cruella de Vil, and she just owns it. Like, I want her swanning around in like a cashmere house coat, drinking like a protein smoothie out of a martini glass. And I want her to understand that like high camp villain role is actually really interesting and cool. And if she could do that, I would be so much more interested.
Okay, Gwyneth Paltrow Hag era ?
Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow crone. Okay, well, we'll see. We'll see if Goop can sell crone cream. Both of you, thank you so much for having this conversation. I could talk Gwyneth Paltrow anytime with the two of you.
Thanks, Amil.
Thank you.
Jen Sookfong Lee is an editor at ECW Press and just released her latest novel, The Hunger We Pass Down, which is published by Penguin Random House. She's in Burnaby, BC. And Lainey Louis is eTalk senior correspondent and the founder of LaineyGossip.com. She is in Toronto. Amy Odell's book, Gwyneth, the biography, is out now.